and welcome to yet another very special edition of Goa Wants to Know. My guest this morning is Mahua Moitra, the Lok Sabha MP of the Trinamool Congress, and of course, the state in charge of the Trinamool in Goa. Mahua, I'll just start off with a soft question. How's it been as far as TMC's experiment with Goa is concerned?
I don't think it's an experiment. I think it's a full-fledged journey which started about 4 months ago. So it's been lovely. I mean, can I complain? Look at the sunshine, look at the sea.
When TMC entered, there was a bit of skepticism in the air, and one of the first things that was said was, why did TMC decide to come now with just 3 months before elections? What were the motives in entering a state where it has no base, and so on and so forth? And I think a large part of these 3 months have been spent, in trying to answer that to the people who matter. So the thing is, has that been a bit of a challenge in this whole journey? One of your biggest I won't say stumbling blocks, but challenges as well?
No, I think these are all very fair questions. As a political party, when we make a decision like that, yes, we haven't been in Goa before. Yes, we have been, we are a national party, but so far we have been, our strength has been in Bengal. So it is natural that people would ask these questions, especially in a state like Goa, which has always seen a very binary political landscape, which has been Congress or BJP. But there are two things that I would like to point out. The first is, for those who say you've been here 4 months, why didn't you come a year ago? Well, the political realities of India are such that we couldn't have come a year ago because we were fighting the battle of our lives in Bengal. And had we not won Bengal the way we did and come in, we couldn't have had a serious effort here. So I wish, yes, everybody wishes that we could turn the clock backwards, but it's not. We have to deal with what the realities are. The second is that you said you have no base. That's exactly why we've come here, to start a base. And the reasons and I've answered this before, one of the reasons that we felt we had to come to Goa was in 2017. The Congress, had they done its job, there would have been no need for us to come. We want to get the BJP out. Our fight is not with the Congress. So if the Congress had done its job, and as the largest party with 17 seats and a few more formed the government, we wouldn't have had to watch this. And even now, when you see the Congress and the way you see that there's, sometimes we get the feeling that they're not really serious. So in that case, it is important that non-Congress parties who are part of the fight against the BJP also are there to give an option to the people. So that's why we are here.
It's interesting that you say this, because I was speaking to Arvind Kejriwal the other day, and he said exactly the same thing. One of the reasons why we are here is because the Congress has not done its job.
Yes.
So it's interesting that there are two non-BJP parties who are literally kind of facing the people on the same narrative, as it were. So does it bother you that the two narratives are running parallel without the parties being in some kind of an understanding?
No, I think, the fight is against the BJP. In today's India, there is no greater bond that brings people together than knowing which side of the spectrum you're on. And we're strictly on the side of the spectrum, on the other side of the spectrum as the BJP. And that is there for people to see. We've proven our credentials. I don't think that is up for discussion anymore. So I think that's the underlying, and the voters will see that.
The biggest charge leveled by your opponents and some part of Goan society was that you have apparently purportedly come here to split votes, or your political actions will invariably split votes. So the thing is, how have you tackled this this narrative?
I would ask these very people who level these accusations at us that if the Congress were capable of consolidating the BJP, the anti-BJP vote, there would have been no need for us to have been here. The Congress is incapable of doing that. And by that logic, there should be no other party in India apart from Congress and
But
the
it
BJP.
got 17 seats in the last election.
It got 17 seats and still couldn't form government, and it was down to 3 MLAs. So that's the beauty of it. For a party that got 17 seats to be down to 3, actually 2 MLAs, because even Reginald was resigned, is 2 MLAs. I mean, that's a joke. So that's one. The second thing is that, look, I don't even need to answer this, because in Bengal, we were fighting the battle of our lives, and the Congress put up candidates against us everywhere. They entered into an alliance with a party like the ISF, which is a complete fringe element. And they did that, and they are not accused of splitting votes. And we are the ones who fought, who've defeated the BJP. We would not be standing here today had Bengal gone the other way. Please remember, the entire narrative and the fighting spirit in India would have been a very different place.
Tell us, obviously in the last 3 months, you all have managed to field candidates. 26 of them got
Right.
into an alliance with the MGP.
Right.
I'll first talk about the MGP alliance. Was it done out of conviction, or was it done out of a felt need?
Look, in politics, conviction and necessities go hand in hand. And sometimes you can be you can have all the conviction in the world and doesn't reflect reality. I mean, if you saw Tony Blair was convinced that there were weapons of mass destruction and wouldn't listen to anybody and got into something that they had to pay a very heavy price on. So there has to be a blend between reality. So as far as we are concerned, the conviction is that we need to be able to, in Goa, to make sure that people who were initially allies of the BJP and parties like the MGP who were allied with the BJP and who have now realized that the BJP is not the way to go forward, that we give those parties room to be in an anti-BJP alliance. So I think that was the conviction, that we are both anti-BJP parties. And the second thing is there a necessity? Yes, there is a necessity also in Goa, because when we've come in, I think that if you see the seat sharing, we are in a seat sharing alliance. We've given them 13 seats. So in those 13 seats, they are fighting the BJP 1:1. And I think that is the best way to defeat the BJP here, where on those 13 seats, I don't think we on our ticket would have stood a better chance than the MGP, or the Congress on their ticket would stand a better chance of the BJP. So I think it's extremely tactical as well. So it's a mixture of tactical as well as conviction.
Also, another shadow or charge that again opponents level is that you're an anti-Hindu party and you're a pro-Muslim party. In Bengal, you have the whole Muslim vote, and you've come here to do the same thing, and that was one of the first reactions of the BJP. Has that been even a bit of a challenge in Goa? And did the MGP alliance, did this factor play a very small part in that decision?
No, not at all, because I think we've listened to this BJP propaganda for long enough. The BJP do this very well. They lie and lie and lie and lie till at least somebody starts thinking, oh my God, there must be a little bit of truth into it. So this this pro-Muslim, anti-Hindu thing that the BJP have done, in Bengal we won 217 seats.
Right.
About 103, 104 would be minority seats. So we've won more Hindu seats that we have Muslim seats. How could we have come to government with our majority if we didn't get the Hindu vote? So I think to answer these questions over and over again is just playing into the BJP's narrative.
Okay, coming to Goa. Goa, of course, has a different kind of politics, but one can't deny the fact that the minority and the majority. There's no division in society, as it were, but in politics, different parties play those cards to get the minority vote and the majority vote, and it happens with all parties. Some do it overtly, some do it covertly.
Right.
Now, in the sense that when you came in, did you have to engage with the church, or did you have to engage with the minority side of Goa to have a more holistic approach?
It's not a question of minority. I think Trinamool as a party, everyone knows what we stand for. When Mamata Banerjee stands up and she says that in Bengal, nobody is doing this, that the BJP we are not banning beef, we are not letting you do what you want, and we come out very strongly. So I think it's not just for Goa. That is our party, that is us, that is our DNA. When I stand up in Parliament and I say 460 attacks have been made on Christians in 2021 in 16 towns and cities, that is pure fact. And if nobody else is saying it, that's not our problem.
Sure.
We are not saying it for Goa. We are saying it because that's the truth. And so I think people should realize, and especially in Goa, where the percentage of so-called minorities, I don't like the word, but the percentage of so-called Muslims plus Christians is actually higher than the percentage of Muslims in Bengal.
Right.
And these are very core to the fabric of Goa and to the fabric of India. So if tomorrow Christians or Muslims or whoever who's not part of the larger majority are fearful of, literally, it's a battle for survival. It's not any ideology for them. It's a battle for survival. And if that, if that reality doesn't strike them now, it never will.
More when you came in, obviously, to bring about a new dawn, and you all at that point of time said that you would build the party from ground up,
Yes.
have young, fresh faces,
Yes.
clean candidates, and so on and so forth, and get new faces into the whole picture. But 3 months down the line, one has kind of understood and figured that you may not have been able to kind of do that fully. You had to rely on leaders of other parties. You had to pick people from other parties, and in most constituencies, would it be fair to say that the leaders are the ones, the established leaders are the ones who will get the votes rather than the party base, and people will be voting for the leaders rather than a Trinamool person, as it were?
Look, you have to see the historical reality of Goa. We as a political party, when we've come in, we can't be working on a system that is applicable in UP in Goa.
Right.
It has to be done with the system. In Goa, historically, because of very small constituency sizes, 29,000, 30,000 votes, 40 booths, in all very small sizes, it is very possible just by tweaking 4,000 to 6,000 votes that a person, people who get 8,000 votes win in a constituency.
Right.
It's unheard of in states like ours, completely unheard of. So because of that, the vote becomes very person-centric. That's a reality of Goa. That's not something we have created. Any psophologist, any one political analyst will tell you that. So when we come into Goa and we have literally 4 or 5 months, then of course we have got people, we've taken in a lot of young people, we've taken in fresh faces, but it takes time. It takes time. And since we're fighting an election, we also have to get people who are established political faces, because that is the reality of Goa. That is the reality of Goa.
Right.
In Goa, you have seen everyone at least has been in 2 parties at any given time. Goa has had more chief ministers than any other state of India. The shortest tenure of any government in India. These are all Goa's realities that the TMC has not created. This is what it is. So we are having to work in that. And having to work in that means we have to compete by those rules. We can't come in with our rules. So I think we've done a good job of blending in both.
Moving ahead, the thing is, if the Trinamool has come here to stay, win,
Yes.
lose,
Yes.
otherwise, and if you're looking at a long run in Goa, are you saying that, look, we will, post-elections, when you're rebuilding the party, you will approach it differently, in the sense that you'll get people from the grassroots?
We've already started building the party, so it's not that we haven't built the party.
Right.
Now, in almost every booth, we have booth workers, and we have got block presidents everywhere. So all the pillars of creating the organization structure are in place. We have booth committees in all the booths.
Right.
We have, some may be stronger than others, but the basic infrastructure, the basic
Right.
framework is already set. So we will build on that going forward, obviously. But have we been able to? It's very important that have we been able to field candidates everywhere? Yes. When we are going into campaign somewhere, in each booth, do we have
Right.
at least the polling agents? Yes, we do. So these are all, the nuts and bolts, and that we've been able to put in place.
One of the other things that's emerged a little bit, rightly or wrongly, which is for you to tell us, is that in the last 3 to 4 months, the Goa element in the TMC, the Goa part of the TMC, has been slow to be visible, in the sense that it has taken time, and it's not been a very heavy Goa leadership, Goa centric kind of a visible push. Now, is that true, or is it partly true?
No, I think it was probably true in the first 2 weeks when obviously we were building a party. But today I would say that it's not true at all, because yes, I'm state in charge and I'm MP from Bengal. I'm not going to come here and replace Francis Sardinia or even try. We are not here. Mamta Didi is Chief Minister of Bengal. She's not coming to be Chief Minister of Goa. We are very clear about our goal, which is to give an alternate platform to Goans with Goan leadership.
But do you have a strong Goa leadership?
Yes, we do, because we have our state president Kiran, who's very strong, who's fighting himself in Aldona and Tivim are the 2 states. So we've got a strong leadership. We've got Mr. Ferreira, who's the next chief minister. We've got Churchill Alameo, and these are all Goan. They are all products of Goan politics. So, and they have all been pillars of the Goan political fabric. And these are people who are in the Trinamool now. So yes, they are running the show.
See, one of the general accusations against other parties,
Yes.
be it BJP, be the Congress, was family raj, and the fact that different families were controlling politics. The BJP has not been able to get out of it, nor has the Congress. But the Trinamool has given 2 sets of tickets to 2 families. Now, the thing is, was it inevitable? Was it practical? And what does it do to the larger narrative of...
Well, I think I hear what you're saying, and the Trinamool generally stays away from. I mean, we are most of
Completely,
us. If you
yes.
look at us in
Yes,
a
yes.
party, we wouldn't have had a hope in hell had we depended on dynasty to be here. So I think Mahua is very clear about that, very fair about that. We are a meritocracy. But having said, again, the realities of that particular state also move us to some extent. So in this case, I think when we are dealing with 40 seats, and there are 2 tickets that have been given, Kiran and his wife, and Churchill Alamo and his daughter. These are the 2 seats. seats. So Benoli, Naveli, Aldona, Tivim, those pair of those two seats.
Yes,
So I think in the larger framework, if those two tickets were, and they are very capable candidates in their own right. They are capable candidates in their own right. Had we been accused of giving candidate, you've given her a lamppost just because she's the wife, or you've given her a lamppost just because she's the daughter, I could understand that. But in this case, they just happen to be the wife of a leader and happen to be, but she's a Zilla Parishad member in her own right, and she's a political being in her own right. So I think then that's not always fair to say.
Okay. The other issue is, okay, we'll get into this, the tweet controversy that you had with the Congress. In the sense that way, you reached out in
Yes,
all good
yes.
faith, to the Congress, and the Congress, from the tone of their tweet, seemed that they kind of rebuffed you, and Mr. Chidambaram said that I did not get an official kind of a handshake or a reaching out. And then, of course, different leaders said that, look, Trinamool, when they came, and we know it all, that they first said they're going to fight 40 seats. And what happened now, and why they're saying they're going to, ally with us, and so on and so forth. Now, when you see those tweet wars, from the outside, it looks that there is an absolute disarray in this opposition unity narrative.
No, look, Twitter is part of social media. Twitter doesn't make or break the vote. It is something, frankly, that is there to amuse us all at the best of times. And we all use it because, again, but at the end of the day, it's not the Twitter narrative which either makes a vote or breaks a vote. As far as we are concerned, 2024 is the battle we are all ours. Like we've said outright, our war is not with the Congress. Our war is with the BJP, and we hope the Congress's war also is with the BJP. Though with their conduct in Bengal, we're not really sure, but still giving them the benefit of the doubt. So what I tell Mr. Chidambaram and what he tells me on Twitter, frankly, is not that important at the end of the day. The main issue here is this, and that is that are we both committed to getting out the BJP? So nothing would give us greater pleasure had the Congress been able to say that we'll win 21 seats in Goa. That's fine, they could have won it. But because they couldn't is why we are here. And even today, if I would say a mix of votes outside of the BJP goes in this formation, we are perfectly happy with that.
But is it an admission of at least one reality that the Trinamool is not forming a government on its own?
No, I think, look, when you come in 4 months, of course we are, did we think we are going to win for 39 seats out of 40? I don't think so. I'd be sitting here and, so I don't think that is obviously done. But the point is this, that I think in 4 months, is someone going to form, are we going to be a bloc that is going to be very vital to government formation? Yes. Between the MGP and us, we will get enough seats that we will matter in the formation of the government. And that's what's important.
Of course, if I ask you who's going to be the legislative party leader, you'll say let the legislative party be formed.
Yes, absolutely. You can't. That's understandable.
But what happens is every party, when it goes into an election, it has a short list, long list and a short list of people who would kind of lead the legislative party. So have you all kind of made an assessment?
Yes, there is an assessment. Obviously, it's not up for public viewing now. It's not. And I think, this thing of going with a face, this is something that was really started by Narendra Modi's PM campaign, where we go with a face. Right. And we're all somehow supposed to all follow this model. But it's really not been the model in India, because a party wins and then the legislators sit together and decide who the leader will be. That's originally been the way it's been, and we'll go with that.
Didn't the alliance say that you all are going to announce a CM face on the 10th?
Yes, we didn't say we'll announce it on the 10th. We said that we will announce it before going to the polls. Yeah, so so it's not that we said that we would go to it. But yes, initially we had thought we would go. But given the situation, what is there now, that let the results come and we'll sit together and see what is to be done.
So what you're essentially saying is that there's going to be no declared face.
There's no declared face. There's no declared face. There's no declared face. No.
Mahua, before I conclude this, I'll take the whole thing into a larger national perspective, because you're a national leader. Now, one of the things is looking at Goa to increase the sports share. That's
right.
Okay. That's no crime.
Right.
Right. Maybe that's one of the motives, but that's fine. That's par for the course.
Right.
Looking at 2024. How far is the effort in bringing about a larger national consensus against the current ruling party, and have you been engaging with others?
Yes.
How has it been going? What's been the feedback?
We have been engaging. I think everyone has kind of realized, whether it's the SP, whether it's Moitra, all of us have realized that to get the BJP out, and I said that in my speech day before yesterday, there has to be some understanding of the tactics to be, because if you see, they have only, out of 200 seats from Bihar to Kerala, they have still not been able to win more than 50, the BJP. So if in North and in West they are down, then they are over. And that's something we need to concentrate on. She's going to Akhilesh, she's going to UP. You know, this is working with Akhilesh. You have, KCR has been meeting Lalu's son. And also, I think there is always talk, and even with the Congress. I mean, 2024 is, that's a larger narrative that is imperative for all of us.
Mahua, Moitra, thank you very much for spending this morning with us and giving us your insights. We hope you and your party do well, and all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joy. Thank you.